Hello, our Dynamics community. It's your host, Mariana, here to welcome you to the DAYnamics Show, where personal development meets daily life. On this podcast, we know there's no one-size-fits-all path in life, which is why each episode is crafted for you to align with your own dynamic self on your terms. Our journey here is filled with options, opportunities, and infinite possibilities. So let's uncover the reason that you are here and explore what's possible together. Now, today, our fundamentals and discussions are mixed for a special episode. And we also have invited some guests. We are using the system called SpeakPipe to bring forth answers to those that we could not be on Zoom with or over the phone or in person, but still allowed their voice to be heard. And I'm so excited for this episode. It is going to be about mind dynamics and the dynamics of the mind, mindfulness, state of mind, mental health, consciousness, thoughts, intellect, anything again to do with the mind. Why the subject matter? And for us, it covers one of our core life dynamics that we have, mind dynamics. And it also is about mind matters. And how much attention are you really giving to the well-being of your mind? Now, we always start off with some kind of definition. I usually look at 2 or 3 different references. Mind, element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experiences, to think, feel, the faculty of consciousness and thought, intellect. Pretty straightforward there. And then the mind is a totality of psychological phenomena and capacities encompassing both conscious and unconscious states. Okay, and one more. Represents the inner person, their thoughts, encompasses thoughts, attitudes, intentions. Now, how did these connect for you as far as the definition? Do you have to redefine what and how you looked at your mind? Words seem so limited around the mind and its infinite possibilities. If you've listened to any of our podcasts before, I always like to set the tone before we get right into the key points. It's for our time together. It's more than just a podcast. We are here to remind you that flowing through each one of us is a dynamic energy that is ours to use every single day. That's why the day in dynamics is capitalized. It is a daily choice to live dynamically. Let's take a moment to center ourselves, take a deep breath in and then out, and be fully present and listen with an open heart and an open mind. A part of being dynamic is constantly changing, being open to new ideas, and knowing we are always becoming something. So let's become more aware of how the mind does matter. So I'll start. The question we seem to receive the most of on our DAYnamics Show podcast and Dynamics series website's contact form is, how does gratitude and appreciation help your mind? Really great question. The way that I would answer that specifically is, it absolutely has an impact on your mind. Anyone that has ever practiced gratitude, you know that even though you might not know exactly what's happening, but you definitely feel better because your brain is releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. And then that enhances your mood and your overall sense of well-being. And then over time, this also, by the practice of this, I think it just rewires your brain and helps you focus more on the positive rather than the negative. And when you do that, you know that you're automatically reducing stress and anxiety. I think it also strengthens our connections with others. On a psychological level, it also shifts our mindset from scarcity and lack to abundance and well-being. I would say it makes us feel more content and grounded in the present moment. It just feels better. And I don't know about you, but it feels good to feel good. And it doesn't feel so good not feeling good. And if it comes down just to that, then ask yourself, what feels better to you? What serves you? So let's have our first guest, Rubina, CEO and founder of Inner Design. We are so happy that you have joined us, Rubina. Our question to you is, after following the script of what we have been told is success, why did you start studying, in particular, mindfulness? And second, tell us more about the journey of creating Inner Design and how it aligns and balances the mind.
Thank you so much for having me. This is Rubina Chadha. When I hear the question about following the script of what we've been told is success, it really takes me back. On paper, I did everything right. I was formally trained in art and design. I built a career in creative industries. I worked hard. I achieved. I checked all the boxes. From the outside, it looked aligned. But internally, something felt off. What I began to notice was that even when I succeeded, my nervous system was not at ease. I was productive, but I was not always present. I was creating, but I was not always connected. There was a subtle burnout that achievement alone could not fix. The truth is, I did not start studying mindfulness as a trend. I grew up with it. I was raised in an East Indian household where meditation and mantra were part of daily life. Silence was normal. Breath was sacred. As I've shared in the past on many podcasts, the body remembers how to come home. But like many of us, I drifted from that simplicity when I entered the professional life. And when pressure was built, I returned to what I already knew. I returned to the breath. Mindfulness became less about philosophy and more about survival. It became the difference between reacting and responding, between pushing through and actually listening. What I discovered is you cannot read the label when you're inside the bottle. When we're caught inside stress, ambition, inside the identity of success, we cannot see clearly. Mindfulness gives us space. It allows us to slow down perception just enough so we can step outside the bottle and actually observe our own mind. That is where everything changed for me. And Inner Design was born from that realization. My background is in design, so I understand structure, composition, visual language. But what fascinated me more over time was not what people were creating. It was how they were functioning while they were creating. So I began merging what I grew up with, the meditation and breathwork, with what I was trained in, design thinking and creative process. And Inner Design came from blending my upbringing with my background in art and design. The Inner Design method is the practice of designing your internal state before you design your external world. We spend so much time designing careers, brands, schedules, outcomes, but very few people are taught how to design their inner rhythm, their breath, their response patterns, their nervous system. When the mind is overstimulated, it fragments. When the breath is shallow, the body stays in a subtle form of fight or flight. Creativity begins to narrow, and decision-making becomes reactive. So the work of inner design is simple, but powerful. First, we regulate the nervous system through breath, not in a dramatic way, in a grounded, repeatable way. Second, we create space through mindful observation. I often use creative exercises like visual journaling, mindful looking, even doodling. And I describe photography as the closest thing to mindfulness because it happens in a single instant of awareness. That instant is what we are training, the ability to pause and see. And third, we align action with that clarity. When the mind is balanced, it's not empty, it's steady. It can hold ambition and calm at the same time. It can hold vision without urgency. And inner design aligns the mind by bringing coherence between breath, body, and thought, teaching people to slow down without losing momentum, to achieve without abandoning themselves. So for me, studying mindfulness was never about escaping success. It was about redefining it. If I could leave your listeners with one thing, it would be this. Before you redesign your life, redesign your inner state. Even one conscious breath changes the quality of your thinking. And my question back to you would be this. If the mind creates the quality of our life, why are we not taught to work with it from the beginning?
Well, that is a good question. Thanks so much. On our side, I had a similar question when my daughter was very young. And why do we spend so much of our adult life redefining our childhood? So I created a kids program where mind is one of the themes, because I think it is so important for all of us to understand how important mind is. I love your 3 steps you shared. And what's going to stick with me too is your comment about you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. That's a great visual. Thank you for all you do and are doing. Thanks for being part of this show. You can reach Rubina at her YouTube channel, and that will be in the show notes below. So again, thanks so much. Next, we welcome back our master degree